Hi everyone, my name is James Kraft. I'm so thankful that you're here with us with the Novus project, and I have an incredible opportunity to be here with a new friend, but also an opportunity to see with Butch Hartman, who, if you are familiar with Nickelodeon, you know the Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom. There's so many different things you can. Your credits have so many. So tell us a little bit about who you are real quick in a nutshell and what you've done, because there's so much. You can actually do it faster than I can.
Well, I actually came out of a nutshell, which is interesting. You know, I'm kidding. No, I'm a kid from Michigan. I'm a kid from Detroit, Michigan, who loved cartoons my whole life. And then I came out to California back in the 80s to be an animator for Walt Disney. Never worked for Disney though. It's one of the only places I never worked. And I ended up getting into the television animation industry. Yeah. And just learned every job possible, every single thing I could possibly learn. I went from working on other people's cartoons to creating my own cartoons at Nickelodeon. I was able to create 4 cartoons. I was there for 20 years, Nickelodeon, and I created a show called The Fairly Odd Parents, as you said. One called Danny Phantom, one called Tough Puppy, and one called Bunsen is a Beast. That was my latest show. And so after 20 years, I just decided to leave. And we're now starting our own project called O-Access Entertainment, which is a brand new streaming service.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Because I really want to see how that is going to be an influence to so many people.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, I'm in my 40s, and I am a huge Fairly Odd Parents. And I am a huge fan. So
Thank you. That's why I allowed you in here today.
Yeah, I know.
That's why you're here. Yeah.
I have young kids, and so we watch it all the time. At the Novus Project, we deal with the effects of what media is having on young people.
Oh, yeah.
So you've been in the industry. Tell me a little bit of your perspective of how media across the board, has had an impact on generations now.
Oh, well, media, you could almost say media is the #1 influence on people, because there's not a place you can go on this earth, really, without getting exposed to some kind of a screen that's showing you something. But what is that screen showing you? And who, by the way, who put it on that screen? Who's controlling what's on that screen? And, people in the media years ago realized that there's power in what you tell people.
Right.
Back in the day, when there was only the newspaper, if it wasn't in the newspaper, people didn't know about it. But then people very quickly realized, wow, we can control the narrative by putting only certain things in the newspaper. Same thing goes with TV, radio, everything. So it's, media is, I would say, the most powerful influencer there is on the planet. And we really have to watch out who is behind it. I mean, and what legacy are you trying to leave for people? What are you putting out there? I work in Hollywood. There's a lot of people out there who put anything on TV just because it makes money. And I understand the need for money. We all need money. But I would like people to maybe think twice about what they put out there, because you're influencing someone you're probably never going to even meet.
Right.
There's people out there you're not even going to ever get to come across.
Right.
But they're influenced by what you've put out there. Whether you're a songwriter, whether you're a cartoonist, whether you're an actor, a director, whatever it is, it's influencing somebody.
That's right. That's right. What kind of influence do you think your shows have had on people?
I would like to think my shows have had a positive aspect, added a positive aspect to people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what I strive to do. You can never please everybody, but I really do hope that when people watch any of my cartoons, my shows, whatever I do in the past or even in the future, I hope they come away with it feeling better than they did when they got there.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Now, again, you're never going to please everybody.
You're not. I mean, there's critics.
Am I pleasing you right now? Is this
no,
okay
you're
so
not.
far?
No,
Is
you're
this
not.
going well? Okay, I was making sure. Darn it, I've already failed.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. Yeah.
Well, and even just the influence of the pressure of living under, it's like, you got to be you. And
you have to be,
it comes from your own heart and how you're portraying what you believe in, your values and your core beliefs and so on and so forth. Well, I know that as we're looking into the future, we deal with students all the time. On average, across our nation, students are spending about 9 hours a day on media. And that's all forms of media. So,
and that screen time increases as they get older.
It is.
And the family time decreases.
Yes, sure does.
We were talking about that, yeah.
So that means less relationships and more screen.
Less real relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Because people can get, quote unquote, satisfied from something on a screen now, as opposed to working for it with a real person.
Right.
And so that's something that's really become I don't want to use the word problem, but I'll just say it's become a factor in society today.
Where do you see media going into the future and the influence that it has?
That's a very good question. It's a big question. I see media. Here's what I see it as. I see if media isn't, put it this way, it needs to be controlled in a way that, I don't mean like censored things like that.
Yeah.
I think people can watch whatever they want to. But I would like to see, just for me personally, because I grew up in an era where there was a lot less media, and I've seen it grow to this behemoth that it's become. I mean, it really has. When I was a kid, there were 3 TV channels and the radio, and that was pretty much it.
That's it.
Maybe the news came on once a day.
Right.
You remember that? And so, you know, I'm like 106, so it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I was back horse and buggy days. No, but now there's so many things out there that if we're not careful, it almost can spread like a virus to where if no one's watching it, it's like a leak in your house or like a snake gets it. See, there's like. My wife and I use this analogy all the time. If a snake gets in your house, if it's a baby snake, you have every opportunity to go over there and get it out. It's no problem. But if you ignore it, it's going to start growing. And it's going to grow, and it's going to grow. And if you don't get that snake out of there, it's going to grow to where you can't get it out of there. And it's going to take over you and your home and your family. But people, I think nowadays, people have learned to accept it, so they don't even know there's a problem anymore. That's the world they grew up in, so that's not a problem. You know, so I really think there's a lot of negative stuff out there that, you know, for better or for worse, we need to really watch how much bad stuff is out there.
I agree. Well, we identified that this is a real issue. Kids are being influenced, and you have your own kids, and so they were part of what you were doing all along the way. Did you see that influence in your own kids?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we definitely watched. We definitely had to be mindful of what they watched, of course. In fact, part of the reason I'm doing what I'm doing now, which is starting my own family-friendly streaming service, is because as my kids got older, it got harder and harder to find something we could all watch together. And I think a lot of parents these days do one of two things. They will go, "You're not watching anything," and they'll slam the door, and the kids can't watch anything. Which I don't agree with, because I do think they should be able to watch some things. Because I think watching great entertainment gives you a vision. When I was a kid in Michigan, I saw this television set with all these great things on it, and I went, how do I get in there and do that? It gave me a vision for what I wanted to do. But other parents go, you know what? Just watch whatever you want. I can't control it anymore.
So there's two sides of the spectrum. They're going either or, and they're never in the middle here.
Exactly. So we need to bring it back to, I think we need to at least provide an option where families can get together, all together. Mom and dad can watch a show with the kids without being embarrassed, without having to cover their eyes. And the kids won't. And the kids will feel like they're watching something great. If we put out great material that everybody can watch, I think that's a positive thing.